There was a teacher who once told a classroom of ordinary students that they had been secretly identified as gifted. They had not been tested, they had not been screened. The teacher simply believed it and treated them accordingly. By the end of the year, those students had outperformed their classmates by a significant margin. Their IQ scores had measurably risen. Nothing about their brains had changed at the start of that year. Only one thing changed. Someone believed in them. This is not a motivational story. This is one of the most replicated findings in the history of psychology, and the reason it works is far stranger and far older than anyone expected. Psychologists Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson ran this exact experiment in 1968 in an elementary school in California. They told teachers that certain students, chosen completely at random, were expected to show dramatic intellectual growth that year. The teachers had no idea the selection was meaningless. They simply believed it, and the students who were randomly labeled as gifted began performing as if they actually were. This became known as the Pygmalion Effect, named after the Greek myth of a sculptor who fell in love with a statue he carved so completely that it came to life. The idea being, belief itself can shape reality. Expectation can sculpt a person into who they are expected to become. But here is the part most people never ask. Why would a human brain respond this way at all? Why would simply being believed in cause someone to genuinely become smarter, more capable, more confident? The answer is not really about intelligence. It is about something your brain has been tracking since long before classrooms existed. For almost the entire span of human history, you did not survive alone. You survived as part of a small group, a band of perhaps 30 to 50 people who hunted together, defended each other, and shared what little food existed. In that environment, your value to the group was not abstract. It was the difference between eating and starving, between protection and exposure, between life and death. And how did your ancestors know their value to the group? They read it in how others treated them. If the group believed you were capable, you were given responsibility. You were trusted with the hunt, with leadership, with the safety of children. If the group believed you were weak or unreliable, you were given less food, less protection, less say and decisions that determined whether the tribe survived the winter. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar, known for his research on social group size and human cognition, has written extensively about how human brains evolved specifically to track social standing within a group, not as a minor social skill, as a central, energy-expensive function of the brain, because in a small tribal environment, your social position was directly tied to your physical survival. This means your brain did not simply notice when someone believes in you. It evolved to treat that belief as critical survival information. When someone, a teacher, a parent, or a boss, expects more from you, several things happen almost immediately, often without either party realizing it. The person with high expectations of you gives you more attention, more detailed feedback, more opportunities to demonstrate skill, more patience when you fail. You, in turn, receive more practice, more confidence, and more genuine improvement. The belief becomes a self-reinforcing loop, not because of magic, but because belief changes behavior, and behavior changes outcomes. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on mindset reveals something closely related. Students who believe their intelligence can grow and who are treated as if it can grow consistently outperform equally capable students who are treated as fixed or limited. The belief is not just comforting, it restructures how the brain approaches failure, effort, and risk. Here is where it gets stranger still. The reverse of the Pygmalion effect is called the Golem effect, and it is, if anything, more powerful. When someone is expected to fail, they very often do. Teachers who believe a student is incapable unconsciously give that student less attention, less encouragement, and lower quality feedback. The student, sensing diminished value, often disengages entirely, not because they lack ability, because somewhere ancient and wordless inside them, a signal has been received. The tribe does not believe in you. And for most of human history, that signal alone was often enough to determine whether someone gave up trying. Think about what this means for your own life right now, today. Every time someone has doubted you, some old part of your brain quietly logged it as a threat to your standing. Every time someone has believed in you fully and visibly, some equally old part of your brain logged it as evidence that you are safe, valued, and worth investing energy into becoming better. You were never simply reacting to opinions. You were reacting the way your ancestors reacted to the only feedback system that ever determined whether they lived through the next season. This explains something else: why the criticism from a stranger online barely affects you, but doubt from a parent, a partner, or a close friend can devastate you for days. Your brain is not measuring the literal content of what was said. It's measuring how much that person's belief matters to your social survival. The closer someone is to your tribe, the more that expectation rewires what you believe you are capable of. It also explains why the most effective leaders, coaches, and parents are rarely the harshest. They are the ones who genuinely expect more from you than you expect from yourself. Not because expecting more is kind, but because their brain is unconsciously transmitting a tribal signal that says, you already belong here, you are already capable. And your ancient nervous system, still running code written for a world of campfires and shared hunts, begins working immediately to make that signal true. So, the next time you feel yourself rising to meet someone's belief in you or shrinking under someone's doubt, understand what is actually happening. You are not imagining it. You are not simply being sensitive. You are running one of the oldest social survival systems your species ever built. A system that once decided who ate, who led, and who was protected when the night grew dangerous. The sculptor in the old Greek myth did not simply carve a statue, he believed it into something alive. And somewhere in the architecture of your own mind, that exact same ancient mechanism is still running, waiting for someone to believe in you enough to bring something new to life.